Was poppin'. Welcome, Nicky and Moose. I'm Nicky. That's Moose. What's up, Moose?
What up, y'all?
And welcome to the live show. How's everybody feeling? Please do us a favor. First, get the chat active, get the comments active so the algorithm could love on us. 2, the new episode 160, just dropped. I don't know who's trying to call me from Instagram Live. That's wild.
Awkward.
Right. Why would you do that? Anyways, go check out the new podcast, Views to Sales. We talk really heavy about creating content that actually converts and the whole setup of that. That was a whole vibe. And we got a lot to talk about, but I first always have to ask, Moose, how are we feeling?
Man, feeling pretty good. It was, you ever had one of those days where you don't expect to be busy and then surprisingly you're very busy? And so
Yes.
the day feels busier than it actually is. You're like, yo, I was not signed up for this amount of, work today. And sure enough, so yeah, I had one of them days today, but I definitely can't complain, man. Things are well on this side.
See, I got caught up. The problem with being a creator, if you get something creative, your whole day is shot. Your whole day is shot. Oh my God. So it's official. I got my glasses. You know what I mean? I got my glasses. This is all I'm gonna be wearing from now
Vibes
on.
on the live.
So it's all I'm gonna be wearing.
On the live. I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, let me take a video and a picture real quick. It's let me see if I can ask
I love it.
Meta something. Hold on. Hey Meta. Oh, okay. How long is a YouTube live supposed to be for? See if you can hear it. Hold on.
YouTube live streams can vary in length, but they are typically limited to 12 hours for non-verified accounts and up to 40 hours for verified accounts.
Talk that talk right there too. That's fire. So they have, I guess, speakers or whatnot that you could.
Oh, I could play music. I could do all this stuff. It's good. It's a whole vibe. And what I did earlier was I went on Instagram Live, right, just to test it out. And I was able to switch from the phone to the glasses. And it was crisp.
Oh, so you can go from looking at what you're seeing through the camera, the glasses camera, and then through your phone. That's fire. All on the same stream.
All on the same stream.
I love it. Somebody said Nicky Primetime Sanders.
You know what I mean?
I love it.
We just gonna do this. We just gonna do this from now on. I mean,
that's a vibe. That's so dope.
So I'm gonna mess with it. My goal is to do more POV content, but now with it being able to stream from Instagram and kind of switch from back and forth, I'm going to try something new as far as Content Corner, where I'll go into like my iPad and kind of write out some ideas for people right then and there. And so I'll talk on the live real quick, and then we'll flip it to like one of the whiteboard apps on my iPad and just give it a different experience. The audio seems well, so you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did a video with Cuddles.
Nice.
Super dope.
Nice. No, they look good. They actually look really good. I mean, it's Ray-Ban, so I'm not mad at that collab. That's great.
Yeah, let me see. Let me take a second, because I I can't take me serious. I can't take me
Are
serious.
they heavy? Are they heavy?
No.
What's the weight like, Nix?
No, it's not heavy at all.
Like standard sunglasses?
Yeah. And then so as you can see, like two cameras on the side, right? The right there, the capture button. So I could take pictures, record videos, that whole nine. And then what is it? On this side, you can just swipe up to turn on the music, like to put the volume up, put the volume down, tap one for the music. It's really dope. I'm doing a whole YouTube video on it. I'm excited about it. It's
I love it. Unboxings just went to a whole new level. So brands sending in stuff. It's like that. You know what I'm saying? That POV of unboxing now is just right there. It's right through the glasses. No.
I'm so excited about this. So excited about this.
That's dope.
But let's get into this. Let's get into this talk real quick, because there's two people that are trending right now, and they both have the same last name. That's the Carters. Okay. But let's go first and foremost with the first Carter, which is Sean Carter himself, JayZ. All right. Moose, have you been seeing this clip go all over the place?
I have. The funny thing is I saw it on social and I didn't make anything of it. I didn't make the connection that it was a new interview. And then, of course, when you brought it up, I went and saw. I said, "Oh, okay, this is coming out this later this week. It's a 2-part interview." So then that's when I caught on to the whole rollout. But yeah, I love that they showcased that part of it too.
Yeah. So for those people who are not sure what we're talking about, just like how Moose says, there's going to be a JayZ interview with Gayle King, and they've been doing nice little rollout, which I find really interesting, right? We'll talk about that, but been doing a nice little rollout. And the big debate, and I would love for the chat and the comment section to get crazy about, would you take $500K or have dinner with JayZ? Now, the question was asked to JayZ himself, and this is what he said.
Getting paid $500,000 in cash or lunch with JayZ.
Yeah.
Which would you choose?
You gotta take the money. What I'm gonna say? You got all that in the music for $10.99. That's a bad deal. I wouldn't tell you to cut a bad deal. Like,
I don't
take
know.
the $500,000, go buy some albums and listen to the albums. It's all there.
Okay. So, Moose, I got two questions for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
One, what would you do? Right? What would you do? Two, is he right about it all being in the albums, and you know what? It's just a bad deal. Is he right?
I mean, I love Jay's music. I gotta be honest. I love JayZ's music. He does give a lot of game. You gotta obviously tune into it to understand the story. So, I don't know how accurate you can move based on just the music alone or just listening to the songs alone, to be able to do what he does. And quite honestly, it depends on what, I hate to be this technical, but I'm going to be this technical. It depends on what market you're in, right? To be able to do, like when he talked about buying a house, or what did he say? Something like, I should have bought a house in Dumbo. It would have been worth X amount of dollars. It's like, he understands the value of real estate, at least in areas like where we live in New York. $500K might get you through the door, so it's an interesting start. So I don't know. It's a really interesting point. I was surprised about his response to the question, though. You know what I'm saying? Like him saying, "No, I would take the money." Like, and I know maybe it might seem I'm just saying maybe it would seem narcissistic to say, "No, I would have lunch with me," right? Like, yeah, no, I would definitely take lunch with myself over the $500,000. But but it's definitely a interesting point of view. You know, the one thing I thought about though, because you know, my stance on it is once you reach a certain level with your mindset and how clear you are on your own capabilities, as well as your ability to move and shake and do things with that much money. I'm seeing everyone in the comments right now look like 500K is the dominant thing, but once you learn how to move and shake, I think definitely the money seems like an advantage. But there's one thing, and I wonder what's your take on this. There's one thing that you get from the lunch that you don't get from the 500K. And to me, it's the connections that Jay can put you in contact with. You feel me? You can't get that for 500K. You can't, like, there's a lot of people I bet walking around with 500K who don't have connections to, let's say, I don't know, JayZ's marketing people or JayZ's attorneys and accountants. You know what I'm saying? So I think the connections where if I'm going to that lunch, I'm not just thinking about the fact that I'm missing out on the 500K. I'm not even thinking about the fact like, oh my God, what questions can I ask JayZ? I think, sure, there may be some questions that I might want to ask, but I'm definitely saying, hey, I'm looking for 1, 2, 3, XYZ. Can you put me in contact with these people so that I can do the following? Or if you were in my place, what would you do? You know what I'm saying? So that is not being talked about in this conversation. I'm not mad at the 500K. Like at the end of the day, look, cash is king, right? But the connections that come out of the lunch, there's got to be some value to that too.
So I got time today. So normally, okay, launch with Carl. You threw me off with this one. I doubt that his advice is worth that.
You shouldn't have said that.
He ain't Myron Golden.
If you would have been listening to the after show, you would have known not to make that comment. But since you made the comment,
since we're here now, and once again, shout out to you for giving your opinion, right? Appreciate it. However, JayZ is worth $2 billion. $2 billion. He's had an amazing music career. He's owned multiple businesses. He is doing the reform situation with the prisons and the jails. His charity and all that is out of this world. He owned the Nets, like for no reason.
He did. Brought him to Brooklyn.
The reason why Usher is going to the Super Bowl is because of Rock Nation, who is owned by JayZ. Out of all of that, and plus having a successful marriage with bumps and still made it, I'm going to ask him some questions that I don't know if Myron Golden can tell me. I'm not putting, let's say, one is less than the other. I'm saying this is a different perspective. And who's to say, to you, it may not be worth that much. But, I mean, I'm going to take my chances, and this is me. I'm going to take my chances of seeing what I can get. One, that experience is priceless. Hands down. Priceless. Two, I'm going to ask questions. Maybe some of y'all don't know what to ask, and that's perfectly fine. I'm going to ask questions. Three, even if he doesn't answer anything, I'm going to observe his mannerisms and still learn something that I possibly couldn't have gotten if I did not go. So let's say, hands down, right? Let's say he doesn't say anything in this dinner. I could learn like, oh snap, maybe once you reach a certain status, you are so disconnected, you don't know what to say. So how can I stay connected that even if a regular smegular person came to dinner with me, I could still connect with them in some way, shape, or form instead of work hard, be consistent, that whole nine. I could really have a strong conversation with them. That still right there is worth something to me.
Yeah.
It's not about the picture. It's not about the vibes like that. It's more of if I could get something out of that, of a billionaire, right? Of a billionaire of that status that is such a public figure. I can get an ounce of that. For me, once again, money is not hard to make. Now, how much money you want, that's a different story. But for me, to sit here and say is not worth it, that's wild. That's wild. Because here's the thing. Do you have the chance? You have a chance to talk to Myron Golden. Do you have a chance to talk to JayZ? Myron Golden's very reachable.
Yeah, I got a bonus question for the people who said they would take the 500K. I'm just curious, right? I'm just curious. What would be the first three things you guys would do with 500K? Like, let's say this is a real deal, money's on the table, lunch with Jay, this is available to you. You choose the 500K, it's deposited in your account tomorrow. You wake up, boom, 500K in the account. For some of you who just said like, hey, I'm taking the cash. Can you just share real quick? What's the first three things you're doing with the 500K? Because I'm willing to bet that many of us would reach out to someone for financial advice. You know what I'm saying? Like as part of the, oh shoot, that's a big come up. You could compare it very similar to folks who win the lotto and, this whole thing of people going broke. It's like, if you don't have some level of financial education, and honestly, the financial education, there's big hype around financial literacy right now. And I don't mean hype as in a negative way, meaning that there's a lot of financial education available. We all understand the importance of it right now. So people are tuned into that sound. But more important than even financial education or financial literacy when it comes to having that much money are the opportunities to invest. You'll be surprised that sometimes you can have a bunch of cash laying around and you just don't have the right opportunities to throw that money into. So those are some things and I'm just curious, man, again, if y'all tuned in and you said 500K, I wanna see where your head is at with this. Tell me what are the first three things you're doing with the 500K? Because I gotta go with you on this, Nick. Like I get the cash.
I ain't mad. See, this is the thing. I'm not even mad at the cash. I like what LL said. She said, yo, that lunch may not guarantee you connections or a deal respectfully. I'm taking the 500K and I'm saying it with my chest. I ain't mad at that. That's a fact. Mm-hmm. For me, I'm not going in expecting a connection. I'm not going in almost expecting, yo, he's going to give me everything out of his brain. I'm not going to. But realistically, will I have a chance to have dinner with JayZ in this lifetime? Knowing his status and that whole nine, possibly. But if I could get a guarantee, I'm going to do that. Who wouldn't take the chance to sit with one of the greats? Who wouldn't take that? Well, clearly, a few people. But now, I will say, I don't necessarily agree with that everything is in his music. Well, it possibly is. However, not everybody has the time to decipher what he means with his metaphors and all that great stuff and looking it up. And then, like he said, piecing it together. I don't have time to piece it together. I don't do that. That's just me. But for those people, that there's a audience for that. Me, I'm like, yo, at this moment, let me have a conversation with the person. Let me sit in the same table. Let me observe how he rocks, and I'm good with that. That's just me. And
I gotta imagine a JayZ lunch isn't 15 minutes either, right? This is not like a quick Starbucks coffee meeting. It's gotta like lunch. Some of these lunches can go a couple hours. You're not talking about a quick 30 minutes. All right, cool, man. Thanks. Take a pic. Like at least for me, I don't translate this as a fanboy lunch. I translate this as you want like a building lunch or the 500K. So those building lunches can run a couple hours. I'm running, I'm getting at least 5 courses in that lunch. I'm not going to eat for about, a couple hours, and I'm going to extend the time of that lunch and have this conversation. Matt said with the private equity and VC knowledge, with his connections, he don't even need him, and he'll surpass him with the 500K. Like, oh, come on, run.
I love our audience. I ain't mad at that.
Oh, run it up. Yeah, run it up.
Listen, I am not mad at that. Whatever is the whole thing was, let's create a space to hear what you guys have to say. Now let me get into a little bit of the lessons, because it's not really about the debate. It's really about how some of these media outlets are being very strategic with how they release these interviews. Because one, I didn't even know they had to sit down with JayZ, right? Mm-hmm. Didn't even know until I, just like how you said, realized that it was going to be an interview. Cool. I thought it was just like a quick, yo, I heard there was a debate. What you think about, right? But the fact that now they asked a question that everybody has been asking and giving this whole debate, and they made that the very first clip, and it got people talking. It's like, oh, y'all getting smarter. Mm. And these are like the old ABC and NBC, all the like
major network, yeah,
right. Major network. You're getting smarter with the rollout of how to bring eyes to an interview, right? Because they let that sit for a day or two, and then boom, they showed another one, which wasn't so trendy, right? It was the one take hove. This is why they call me one take hove, because blah, 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 blah. That wasn't necessarily, because now we got your attention with the debate. Now you're going to see what else JayZ has to say. And here is where they have to be a little bit strategic. You feel me? This is where if they put out too many clips that doesn't excite the audience after that debate, going to see what JayZ has to say may not get the super peak like it should. Now, people are always going to watch JayZ regardless. He doesn't do that many interviews. He doesn't come outside that much. So yeah, when he does say something, people pay attention. But I do believe, I want to see how big networks are doing these rollouts to see if they understand how to get these in, because all they have to do is look at what podcasters are doing. Podcasters are doing it every single week. Shout out to Wallow and Gilly and Earn Your Leisure and everybody, even us, where we show what's happening. We give different clips for you to be like, oh snap, I gotta check that out. This looks interesting. You feel me? So I'm curious to see what these next ones are going to be, but I would love your take on, because it's not the first time that they're starting to roll out, like big networks are starting to roll out certain pieces of content when they have an interview or when they have something big. So I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yeah, and it's a multifaceted rollout strategy too, if you think about it. So they're using social to, of course, give you the most, let's call them the hot takes of the interview. I've seen 2 pieces of it so far of him at the museum talking about stitching the tape together and how that process would look. And of course, the one with him talking about the lunch or the 500,000. But then there's also them talking about it on TV, right? Doing the live show. So they're using this dual approach to drive traffic, toward the interview, which makes a lot of sense. Essentially, you got to remember that these networks, and we covered it on this week's podcast, where these networks, they're essentially trying to sell you the ads, or at least get you to watch the ads, because that's how they make money. And so they're going to sandwich the ads around the content so that you don't feel that that's the only thing that you're viewing, but you're going to view the ads, because again, it's a business and that's how things work. So I think it makes a lot of sense. And I think even for some of us, this could be something that we implement with our own content, or even some of our most anticipated podcast interviews, right? There are people who we've really gotten accustomed to, or everyone's really gotten accustomed to. In the beginning, posting every week was a big uphill battle. For a lot of people, that was something that was out of reach, whether it's because they didn't have the resources or the team or the content, the depth to be able to talk on a topic for such a long period of time every single week. So you didn't see that. But now that has become pretty common, right? And I don't want to say everyone, but definitely if you're top 10%, top 20% in your industry or in your space, you're posting pretty consistently around your content. I think it would be cool for someone to pull back and tease it and say, hey, I'm not posting this one right away. This is going to be more of an extended rollout till you get the full preview. Obviously, you have to do this strategically around some guests that really mean something to your audience, your industry, and the people that you serve, or your sub niche, if you will. But that's pretty cool. I mean, if you look at what Isaiah does and how the podcast, even with us, is being rolled out now, there's always a trailer to the trailer, then the actual trailer, and then the full episode. So, it's being done, similar in that fashion, but obviously because they don't have something to roll out every single week, it makes sense that they're trying to really drive this or extend it to get more eyes on what they're doing.
So in your world, or just how you think, what is a lesson that we can get from how, like a lesson and something to be cautious about with how big networks are doing their rollouts?
Yeah, the big thing to caution is that you don't want to make a mistake to try and build all this anticipation around something, or respectfully someone that people don't care about. People care about JayZ, right? So this is not being done with just, someone from the morning show or any person randomly that they're bringing on to extend, their content. This is being done with still one of the most relevant people in the culture that people are going to respond to every move that he does. So I think the thing to caution is to make sure you're doing this with the right person, right? Someone, again, who I said is respected for your sub niche, your demographic. It doesn't have to be JayZ status. I don't want someone listening to this and saying, oh, well, this doesn't even make sense because I would never get JayZ on my podcast. Okay, but who's the JayZ of your industry? And surprisingly, I bet you'd be surprised if you were to reach out to that person or put yourself on the path to connect with them. It's not difficult to reach the top people in every industry. That's the beauty of social media, actually, is that you can reach a lot of those people. But the other thing is, I'm seeing that even the most traditional businesses are now pivoting to be, I don't want to just say younger in age, but more versatile in their ability to move, right? You're seeing, like you said, large networks who would traditionally have a very rigid way of doing things. They're now saying, no, we have to jump on some of these new trends or at least new ways to be able to attract and gain the attention of our audience, because that's how people in the content space are doing it. So I think that's a big lesson for us in the business world too. I mean, I don't want to say just take it as competition, but it shows you that when you reach a level of success, you're not free of failure. No one is free of failure just because you're successful. You can still get beat if the competition starts to catch up to you. And obviously I don't know if you own a TV in your home. I don't own a TV in my home. Like we have no TVs here. So everything is straight stream, YouTube from the phone. You know, the NBC is not making money off of our household whatsoever. So it just shows you that I'm sure I'm not the only one. There are other people who have TV but don't watch it, or people who have TV but they stream YouTube on their TV. You know what I'm saying? So it's just to show you that the big networks are starting to also feel that competition a little bit. And so they're like, yo, we gotta start pivoting. So I think that's a big lesson for us in the business sense, that no matter how big we get or how successful we are, you got to watch out for the competition and stay versatile to what's current, what's trending, what's relevant.
This is a fact. I like how you answered that. That was really good. I like that.
Oh, appreciate that. Appreciate that.
That was really good. I'm not following that. That was good. So from one Carter to another Carter, now we got to talk about Beyonce. Okay, so I don't know how many people follow Beyonce. Clearly, a whole lot of people in the world.
Whole lot.
Yeah, a whole lot of people. But today, she posted this bottle, right? This bottle, really simple. Just kind of like twirl it around. Let me show you what it's called. Let me show you who it's from. And then I'm going to show you where to get it, right? Really simple. And I thought it was actually really genius because, and I posted about it today, like, is simple the way to success now? And that we always deem that it's supposed to be super complicated, but is it that simple? Now, of course, I knew some of the feedback I could get is, we're not Beyonce, one. Two, you think that's simple? I can't do that. That looked like it spinned around. It looked all 3D and how, like, I get it, okay? But realistically, it was just a bottle and a website. Let's just flat out leave it that way, right? Now, Beyonce is in millionaire status too, okay? So she could afford, After Effects person, someone who could do some amazing graphics. Yeah, of course. But still, if you break it down to the skeleton of it, it's just a product and the website. Now, it was funny because somebody on my comments was like, leave it to Beyonce. We don't even know how this thing smells, and this is probably going to sell out. Right? It's a perfume. You're supposed to know how things smell, and a whole bunch of people just bought it. It's about $160, right? And people bought it not knowing how it smells. Now, my question to you is, do you believe that something like that simple can work, right? I'll give my take real quick, where I do believe something to that, like showing the product, showing where to get it, is specifically for your core audience. No other people. Now, her core audience, without really knowing anything about the perfume, ran and got it. If you was to do that, your core audience would look at it and get it based off the support and the love they have for you. What I said in the reel was, are we going to get Beyonce numbers? I don't know. I'm not sitting here saying that we're going to do that, but are we going to hit the core audience, and for those people who it's for, or those people who wants to support, absolutely. Who say it won't? I don't, that specific simple situation, that's all core audience. But that's just my take on it.
Yeah,
How about you?
yeah. What's one of the key parts of this too, and this always jumps out from a business standpoint, especially this time of the year, is that this is a pre-order. It's not like you're buying on shipment. This is a pre-order. So they're already throwing revenue into the new year, which is definitely something that I've become more mindful of. A lot of these pre-orders that launch this time of the year, people are putting positive cash flow into next year's, return, rather than packing things onto this year, right? So I got to speak with my accountant at how much of that is a technical strategy. It's like, for real, like, yeah, do some people say like, hey, we've had such a great 2023, or we've had such a great year, whatever, and so we don't want to launch the product and add more possible taxes to our our bottom line this year. So let's go ahead and pre-launch it. We'll claim those revenues next year. I don't know. I'm curious. I don't know the technical thing. It just came to my mind now, but that definitely sticks out that it's a pre-order. But in short, I absolutely agree with you. I think simplicity is definitely the way to go right now, because when you look at what's being done, everything is so loud because it's accessible. And unfortunately, when something becomes accessible, like digital media design and all of these different things, you allow some rookies to enter the space and think that what they're doing is professional design just because they don't want to hire a professional to do it themselves. Right? So they crowd the space where more noise, thinking that more is better. But when you study design at its core and you look at Apple, right? And it's funny because I'm looking at a Billboard.com article right now that is talking about Beyonce's announcement of her fragrance. And to the right, there is an ad with Apple's new iPhone 15 Pro. Super simple, sleek, all black, image with just
But
the
I'm not
name
buying it.
and the learn more button. We're not buying it. No, we're not buying it. But we're not buying it, Apple.
Not buying it.
But
Stop. You can't be that simple all the time. Okay, so here's another thing. Can it hurt to be that simple all the time? Now, I think so. One, I don't think Apple is simple. I think the way they do things between their keynotes, their whole event situations, to even some of the commercials that they have, I don't believe that is something simple. But I do believe they keep very simple designs and just bank on the brand after a while. And so I think this is why they're hurting a little bit with the 15, because it's like, I'm not getting that. There's
too much.
Absolutely no way. Now I saw that they have a new announcement coming out. When did they say that? It was next week or something. They're having a new one, but it's probably going to be talking about
new iMac.
Yeah, all the colorful ones and everything like that. But I think that's where, when you stay too simple, right? It could hurt you.
Yeah,
that's where I think. You feel me? Like,
hey, I definitely do, because I think Nipsey's quote is going to live true forever. Too much of anything is a liability. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you've been too loud, continuing to be loud from a design standpoint, we're talking specifically in this context, at some point that's going to get played out. It's just too much. If you've been too simple, right, and you essentially we're saying the lack of innovation is what I think ends up stifling people, because people want to see something different. Like, if they just get accustomed to you doing the same thing all the time, at some point you got to be able to do it. Now, I know some people are thinking, well, how do you stay true to your foundation, or, what you essentially started, if you have to change? That's the fine line you got to figure out, with your own brand and your business, based on what people care about. You get to play with that. I mean, you've seen at least this show go on a multiple of revisions in terms of format and delivery and look. There's a lot of things that have happened in the last 3 years. And I can still say that we're consistent to the essence or the values of what we talk about here, which is going to be branding and business, right? Delivered in a different format, but essentially still the same thing. So that's always something that people need to figure out on their own as well for how to make it work for themselves.
Mm-hmm. And I like what Cyrus said, where it's like, yo, I went to school for graphic design and simplicity is key. I always struggle with that part, but there is a psychology behind simplicity and color theory. And I agree. What I do know is when you give people too many options, they don't go, right?
Right.
And so I also think of that from a content standpoint and, like he said, like a design standpoint. When you add too many gadgets and buttons and transitions and that whole nine, it may catch your attention, but you don't know what you're supposed to do afterwards. You're like, what in the world did I just watch? Mm-hmm. Right? It was funny. So me and Isaiah are like going back and forth with, the YouTube intro for my page, the personal page, right? And so he did one that was like, I felt like it had a seizure. Right? I was like, this is fire, but I feel like it has a seizure, right? I could get like a seizure right now. And he's like, he did that like warning, you're gonna get a seizure situation, right? But what I was showing him, because we're trying to set it up correctly, and where he was just doing like the whole intro video with like pictures and sounds and everything. And I'm going through some of these YouTube channels and I'm seeing like a Think Media where they'll do like an intro video, right? But it'll be like press record, 5 seconds. One of my favorite podcasts, Ish and Gigs, they'll show like an animated face of them, a real quick, and then go to the, like, it's very simple, very branded, and people remember those sounds. People remember those really quick but simple intros. And I was like, let's just duplicate that. Nice. Let's figure out how we could say the what's popping in there. Have it maybe 5 seconds at most. Boom. I'm more worried about the sound than necessarily the visual, because I want that to just be embedded in people's mind, that you just hear something so simple that, oh, I know that's Nicky, right? But that's dumbing it all the way down, and understanding what is the important part. The important part is the video. The add-on is the intro and everything, and that's all cool, but the important part is the meat and potatoes of the video. So let's not distract that with, why is this 15 seconds? Why is this 20 seconds, right? Why is this going all over the place? Why is this giving me a seizure, right? So it goes along not just from showing a bottle and a call to action. It goes everything with, are we putting way too much stuff into our offers, right? Into our content, into some of the decisions that we're making? Are we just doing too much?
Yeah. No, I agree. I think I've been seeing it. We've talked about this, I think a couple of weeks ago, where we said there's a change happening. There's a shift happening in our space and really the business world at large. People are picking up on all the tactics and all these, nuances that people spent so much money trying to learn. And unfortunately, if you weren't one of the early adopters, it's played out. It's not working as effectively. So everyone's having to adapt. As a matter of fact, when you see the people who invented some of the methods that were so popular, when you start to see them pivot and say, okay, no, here's my new, here's the new way, that lets you know, like, hey, things are changing in the industry. Things are changing in the business world at large. That's exactly what it is. And so definitely. I think you're right on with that. With going with more simple methods to be able to just deliver the value, because essentially that's what it's all about. Makes sense to
So
me.
so let's flip it. Let's flip it to you real quick. What is something right now in your business that you feel that maybe a simpler, I'm not going to say dumbed down, I don't like saying that, but a simpler version of it is has to happen for it to get to the next level, or for it to just
Yeah.
testing out this way isn't necessarily working the way I want to. Maybe I overcomplicated it. Let's bring it back down to the foundation and see how it goes.
Yeah. So we've seen the content and the information that's being shared is actually improving, but the number of live participants is decreasing. So that's like an awkward mix, right? Typically, especially in, let's just call it in the education space, and I'll talk specifically about extreme execution in this context, we deliver education or training resources for coaches and consultants. And so the normal trend, especially when we date back to COVID, now granted, that was a unique circumstance, we used to see a large number of people getting on. Now, was it because the content was absolutely amazing? Maybe. I never look back at my old stuff and I'm never amazed. I look back and I was like, gosh, that was terrible. I'm so much better today. Right? I'm always very critical of that from that standpoint. But it could be that the content was great. It could also mean that it was just a different ecosystem. It was a different time and people had more availability to jump on live. Yeah. And so now as the content and things are shifting, and I think it's getting better, we're seeing fewer live viewers. So a simple adjustment that we're testing now is to say, hey, let's stop assuming that everyone is enjoying the live calls or is available for the live calls. And what if we gave them an opportunity to watch it on demand and as its own thing? Because like right now, it's you're either on with us live or you can't see it at all. It's like you're either all the way in or all the way out. So I've thought about it and I said, well, what if someone is at work during those times because they're in a different time zone and they love the calls, just can't make them. And at the same time, it's not really making sense for them to invest at the same price point if they can't be there live. I said, okay, well, let's extract that portion of it, give it to them on demand. So it's just, that's a simple adjustment that we're making right now, or at least testing and talking about internally around how do we deliver the value to people in a way that is simple and straightforward and to their liking, not to our liking, just because we want to overwhelm you with so much. Oh, you get this and 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 this. Oh, and wait. And this and this.
There's more. There's more.
Yeah, and there's more. So I'm like, maybe we don't need to do that anymore. Let's just give them the main core thing and see how people respond to it. And I think, we haven't put it out yet to give you the official reporting of it, but I can see that actually doing well.
That's good. That's good. That's a really good observation. I think understanding that people are back outside and kind of want to is not that they don't find the value in the program, it's just they don't have the time like they used to. Yeah. And you making that shift is really dope. And anybody who is watching, whether in the chat or in the comments, like maybe what is something that you may have overcomplicated or was working before and you're thinking about kind of just like, you know what, how would I break this down? How do I go back to the core of it and make sure the messaging is right, make sure the intent and the mission is right, and those people who it's intended for, they know it's intended for them. So that's a really good observation. I like that. For me, yeah. I think it's more, and I was talking about this in Deeper Than the Brand, which I'm about to repost that live, where So yesterday, and follow me with this. Yesterday, I got forced to do a YouTube live on my personal YouTube, and I haven't started my YouTube page officially, right? And me and Isaiah were going back and forth, and he was like, "Yo, maybe you should do your AI talks on YouTube Live." I said, "Yeah, cool." But I have a whole audience on IG that I'm like, what am I gonna do? And IG said, "Hey, screw what you think. We gon' we gonna not let this work. You're gonna have to do YouTube, right?" And instead of worrying about, okay, what is going to be the different things that I'm going to show? What is the intro? What is all that? I made it very simple. I made it super organic. I shared my screen. We had fun. It was really for the first live, having about like 22 people on, when it was a nice. First time going live, first time real video. Like, I'm like, what? Okay. We about to just do these simple lives. To me, it's simple. Some people will be, how did you do that? I don't know. How did you share your screen? I get it. But to me, it's very simple compared to what I have in my mind of what I wanted it to happen. And I think we all have that. We all have certain standards of like, okay, this is gonna rock. I want it to look this way, and when it looks this way, cool, right? Mine was like, nah, we just gonna be simple, and we're gonna go, and we're going to go live, and it was a great experience, and sometimes it's even that going back simple or going simple is still a fun time.
Yeah. Yeah. It puts you back in your creative juices where you're just doing what comes natural instead of having to, sometimes I think that the overly, and I want to be careful in how I say this because obviously creative is not my space or my lane, but I think the overly done up thing takes away from the essence of what you're trying to share. Right, mm-hmm. Like the over effects. Because I think sometimes we almost start to pay attention to all the glamour, the lights, and the effects than what is being talked about or delivered. Right. Sometimes it's nice to just cut everything out. I'm not saying all the time. Again, mix it in there, but from time to time, I do think it's important to just cut all that stuff out and really let people focus on the core message that you're communicating instead of using a lot of these effects to maybe appeal to their dopamine or their short attention span, but they miss out on the essence of what you're saying after all. So it's a nice balance after all.
Listen, I'm gonna go with simple, but the one thing that I was waiting for was these glasses. So
fire.
I mean, yeah,
I really like it.
Literally right after this, I'm going to be doing a video breaking it down because I literally tried it out. I was like, okay, meta this. Let's record. Let's take pictures. Let's just sit upstairs inside with these dark shades and do work.
Yeah.
Aaron FaceTimed me and he's like, oh, this is what we're doing. We're just going to wear glasses. Not remembering that this was the glasses. And
right.
Low key, hold on. Let me I'll say this on my video too, but Meta, I'm trying to give you my money. I was trying to give you my money. I bought it from the Meta website. You said I wasn't going to get it till November 6th. Yet it came out on the 17th. It's in the stores on the 17th. I could go drive and get the glasses. What are we talking about? I had to cancel it a couple of days ago to then go on Sunglass Hut, order it because there was only one more in Richmond, got it in like a day or two. Meta, what are you doing? Why did you not prioritize online customers who bought it off the top of you just saying, hey, we got something? That's the whole point of pre-orders. but gave more preference to retailers, third-party people, and in-person situations. That's weird to me. I don't know.
But good take. That's really good take. Yep. Because
But see,
go
ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say I haven't seen any marketing from Ray-Ban directly about. Have you seen any marketing directly from Ray-Ban about the glasses? Only Meta, right?
So, I mean, it's a partnership. So
Yeah.
I would assume when I see Ray-Bans, you know what I mean, and Meta, it's just all together. I don't know if Ray-Bans is supposed to. They have an account called Ray-Bans Meta.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying. I personally didn't see any Ray-Ban specific marketing about the Meta glasses. I didn't see anything like that. I've seen Meta, of course, promote it because you got to think about it. That's when you compare almost brand, let's call it portfolios. When you look at Meta and you look at Ray-Ban, Meta has a way bigger portfolio. I mean, yes, Ray-Bans are obviously incredibly popular. They have a long history. They're known for, I don't know, all types of things in terms of styles or whatnot. But Meta is a pretty big brand. So there's a lot of almost brand equity or brand, I don't know, benefit that you're getting as a result of being attached to it. So I would think that they would have done some marketing efforts to also contribute to the conversation. Maybe Meta didn't want anything. But yeah, I am with you on that. I'm surprised to see the in-store availability beat the online experience, especially when Meta doesn't have, like, it's not like Meta is a physical retailer. They don't have physical stores where you can go in and, check out your Meta profile. So that's interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting.
I'm saying. I'm like, how would you, and somebody, hold on. So shout out to Side Piece Season. Once again, he is not my side piece. It was for sure money versus maybe money. They supplied the dealers first. How's it maybe money if we pre-ordered? That's guaranteed money. You took you didn't take the deposit. You didn't take a part of it. Like you took the whole. You got the 340 something, because that's how much those were. 340 something. You took that all with you just saying, "Hey, it's coming out." Now, here in my mind, I'm like, okay, you say October 17th. Maybe it's getting shipped October 17th. I'm okay with that. No, it wasn't even processed. I said, that's not what we're doing. That's not what, but I still wanted the product. See, it's not even like, I'm never going to order from, like I still want the product.
Right.
Give me that.
I'm just not waiting. Yeah, I'm just not waiting.
Yeah. Cancel that. Let me go over here. Clearly you put, and that's just weird, because that's almost training your audience. And this is a whole nother conversation. You're almost training your audience not to do the pre-orders, to just wait till it go out in the stores. And that's something you don't want. You don't want to just put out pre-orders for no reason, and all of the people are just going to wait anyways. But I don't even know how we got here. We're just here now.
Good observation, though.
There's a lesson to everything.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's real.
Anyways, this was a great convo. Shout out to those people. Regardless if you picked the 500K, regardless if you actually got the dinner with JayZ, shout out to everybody who put their 2 cents with that. Shout out to the people who may have bought the Beyonce perfume or not, but at least appreciate the simple marketing tactics that she's doing, and how that is going to do. It's just, I love it's the timing too. You just get off tour. You announce that there's going to be a film on it. You know what? Let me grab some extra coins with a perfume. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they said here it's designed in the same kind of look that she had on tour, like whatever dress or clothing that she wore on tour. The bottle is meant to resemble that look. So it definitely an extension of, what she did over there. So that's pretty dope.
Oh, that's fire. I like that. But she's so intentional with everything. That her team, her and her team is crazy. Her and her team is crazy. I'm not going to say it's only her. I know she has a massive team, but yeah, it's
Thanks.
yeah. So, anyways, people, share this live if this added any kind of value to you. Make sure you go hit the super thanks or super chat to show and support the channel. That's how we are still able to turn on these lights, have these cameras, and try new gear and tell you if it's worth it or not. And this one, I really do feel is worth it. And we'll break down maybe how they sold me a dream on the podcast. Well, I don't know.
Like that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. But Moose, I appreciate the conversations as always.
Likewise. This has been great. Thank you.
Yeah, and the show wearing the glass. Okay, I got you. Hold on. There we go. We're gonna end
What
it.
an outro.
Yeah, I mean, I do this. My mother wears sunglasses every single day, so it's part of the family. You know what I mean? So we love you. We appreciate you. And you know what we're gonna say. Hey, wait.
Peace, y'all.
No, hold on.
Oh.
Meta wanted to say something. I don't know if y'all heard it, but Meta wanted to say something. But yeah.